There are two parenting cycles that we must distinguish between, or we're going to create frustration in ourselves and our children. One is getting things done, and the other is correcting children. If we try to get things done when children are off track, when they should be corrected, then we just create more chaos in family life. Let me illustrate this with a story from following God's plan of how he worked with Jonah in the Old Testament. God wanted to get something done, and so he calls Jonah. He says in Jonah chapter 1, the word of the Lord came to Jonah and said, "Get up and go to Nineveh." But like a 3-year-old in a grocery store, Jonah runs the other way. So God has to correct him, and he has to have him sit somewhere in order to think about it. Where's he going to have him sit? Well, I'm going to create a fish. So he creates this fish specifically for Jonah. He stops doing what he was going to do. The Ninevites have to wait. We're not going to move forward with the Ninevites right now because this guy needs to be corrected. So he enters into a correction routine, and it takes Jonah 3 days. I say to kids, I hope it doesn't take you 3 days to change your heart. But it takes Jonah 3 days. God's in this correction plan with Jonah until at the end of Jonah chapter 2, Jonah repents and he's changed. So then we can go back to doing the right thing. So in Jonah chapter 3, it starts this way. And the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time and said, "Get up and go to Nineveh." And so Jonah was off and ready to go. These two cycles, the getting things done cycle that we get involved in, is very important. It teaches children diligence and responsibility. It teaches them obligation. It teaches them how to give up their agenda. It teaches them how to be thorough and persevere. All of those things are learned by getting things done in the work of just getting things done in family life. But then there's the other side, which is correction, when children are off track. When children are off track, we must have a plan for addressing that so that we can help kids get back on track. And that is the correction routine. We must have a routine that's set up for that, so we're not just yelling at kids and escalating things. So we have to have a plan for both of those. We can't get them confused. When we're correcting children, we have to stay on the correction cycle, because we try to get something done while we're correcting, then we validate sometimes children's poor responses. You're trying to get the kid to clean his room and he's yelling at you. Then if you continue to try to get things done while he's yelling at you, essentially validate those poor responses. We must draw a distinction between them, have a plan for both of those in order to help our children to learn the specific qualities necessary through the parent-child relationship. If you have a parenting question, send it to me at scott@biblicalparenting.org. We'll try to answer it right here.